Hey, what's going on, y'all? You already know what time it is, man. We got lighting. You feel what I'm saying? We got a mic. You already know. Well, you know from the last couple episodes, but welcome to TKC Presents Sicko Mode, the most honest reviews in wrestling. You dig what I'm saying? Tonight, we're reviewing the second simulcast of AEW Dynamite, which was I feel, and first off, you already know host Evan LG Francis, aka Mr. Go to Work, aka King Francis. My brother right here, Joaquin Xavier, the co-host with the most, doing his thing. You already know. We do that. We're gonna be doing this every week, right?
Yep, every single week.
So yeah, we'll jump in. Um, just first impressions. I thought that, and I think we can agree that this was a really good show. I
It
think they've had
was.
like two good shows in a row, since they moved to Max. And I've been thoroughly impressed. You know what I mean? I really think that I think they're hitting a stride, and I think that especially like with Raw and WWE being on Netflix and them establishing their product and what it is, it gives AEW a chance to kind of like differentiate
Yep.
themselves from, you know what I mean, the product. And that's gonna attract people that prefer just a wrestling based product with the story sprinkled in. But I gotta admit, and I'm a big AEW fan, but I gotta admit, they're coming strong with the story the past couple of weeks.
Yeah.
They have been coming strong with the story. So I got my drink, you already know. We got the smoke, you know what I mean?
Tell the people what you're drinking on. What kind of beer you is that like it
This
looks like a pale
is
ale or
this is Stella Artois tonight.
they
Stella
make a good beer.
Artois
They make a
tonight. They
really
make
good
a
beer.
really good beer. Chased it a little bit with just a little twisted tea just to give it a little sweetness, but not too much. But just to sip on, enjoy the night with y'all, right? Then you know I get my little smoke on there now and again in between. But it never interferes with the quality of the product, and that's what this is all about. My brother here, he slightly drink, but he's on his Aquafina tonight. He's on his
Yeah,
Aquafina, but he'll drink with us every now and again. You know what I
for
mean?
sure.
For sure.
My thing is like I'm trying to get like you again. Like you know what I mean?
I
Get
feel
back
you.
on my because what y'all may not know, folks. I don't know if you follow the other show
Mhm.
or any of the other products that we've made. Is Evan is a he's a fitness instructor, not just a wrestler,
Yeah.
but he's a personal trainer. And the benefit of being a personal trainer is you get to work out all day because you're showing your client
He's not got a
how
cheat
to work
code.
out. See, see, I'm a teacher,
Uh,
and like sometimes when you're, like it's not that I don't get up and move around,
mhm.
but like I exercise a lot less. Like, you know what I mean?
Well,
So
it's just a
so I
little bit
gotta I
healthy.
gotta
There we go.
counterbalance it by like trying to
Yeah.
cut out as much of the sugar intake as possible.
Yeah.
And like I have no business after having had like this morning. I had a Cubano, which is like a caffeinated sugary drink from Pete's, right? And then my,
Starting out bad. You
you
feel
know,
what I'm saying?
like
Don't bring the trainer out of me, bro.
160 calories or something like that, right? I think.
We trying to play analyst tonight. You trying to bring
Sorry,
the
my
trainer
my
out? What's
bad, my
up
bad,
with
my
you,
bad, my
man?
bad, my bad. And then like my boss treated me to some more coffee later on in the day because I needed to pick me up. So I needed this water. You know what I'm
I feel it. I
saying?
feel it. Um, Real quick before we even get jump into like the show tonight. I wanted to get your opinion because you be having some good nuanced opinions, right? Did you
Thank
check
you.
out Raw on Netflix, the
You
first
know, I
episode?
I I'm gonna have to look at it later.
Okay.
I
So that's a no.
that's
Like,
that is a no.
so that's a no.
I will say this much. I didn't see this episode of Raw, but when I have checked in on WWE over the last 10 years,
Mhm.
the one thing I will say is that the wrestling has gotten like this to give y'all some context. The last time I was watching WWE on a regular basis, SmackDown was still on the CW. Okay.
Okay, so that's
You
been
know
it's
what I
been a
mean?
minute.
It's been a minute. And I still remember the days when WCW went out of business and I saw guys that I knew could really go in the ring kind of slow down because WWE had a different take with the way that they had paced their wrestling
Mhm.
compared to the last 10 years where every time I do peak, the wrestling has gotten more active. Like, you know what I
I give him
mean?
that. I
Like
give
it's
him
no
that.
longer like everybody only does 5 moves and like barely anyone is flying around and no one's doing submissions. Like, so they have improved they drafted in indie guys and they kind of let them wrestle,
You know,
you
I was
know,
just about to say that. I feel like you can attribute that to them bringing in a lot of the indie guys
and letting them
who
do the
have a move set. And I know Punk said like I know Punk said like maybe earlier, like last week or something, that if you use the word move set, then you kind of with the bullshit or whatever. Uh, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna say it. Do something about it. Move set. So like
yeah.
anybody who has like an expanded move set, a lot of those guys are in WWE and AEW now. So I feel like that style is the style now. Even when you mentioned the CW Tuesdays, they have NXT.
Hmm.
And I would say, especially in the women's division, I've been noticing a lot of they got some really good move sets.
Oh yeah.
And so I haven't so I'm more of a black and gold era guy on like the NXT thing. So like 2015 when it was really
Mhm.
popping and I went down there and seen WrestleMania and all that.
Yeah.
I believe that was at Levi's the first year. Um so I'm familiar with that style, right? And so I feel like in NXT they bring that style. And I feel like that's just the standard now. You got to have some kind of move set. You got to be able to, and you don't have to whip out everything in one go, right?
No,
Like it's
right.
things that you can do in important matches or in matches that or for a title or anything like that you
Hmm.
wouldn't normally use. You know what I mean? I seen Cena. We have the five moves of doom. He has the five. But I see him whip out something different every now and again, but it's
Hmm.
never like, you know what I mean? But I feel like that's the norm in AEW, right?
Yeah.
Like I feel like everybody has like a crazy move set. I enjoy Raw for what it was. We'll just get right through it.
Yeah.
I wanted to just get your opinion on the elephant in the room, which was the Hulk Hogan situation, real quick.
I heard about that. I heard he got booed.
You didn't see it?
And I didn't see it.
You got to watch that shit,
But
dog.
right, I just hadn't had the time. But I'll tell you, my take on that, like as far as what I've heard, Hogan did it to himself. Like at the end of the day, like you can only say racist things and stand with a president that is viewed as racist.
I'll
And
go let you finish. I'll
for
let you finish.
so long before the people that aren't racist or don't stand with that start seeing you as a bigot. Like even people that may think that Donald Trump isn't a racist are going to
Mhm.
remember that you were talking very harshly about African Americans and still going, yeah, no, we don't like
That's a fact. That's the fact.
you.
Now, can I push back a little
For
bit?
sure.
Okay, so here's my thing. And I said this on the clip about Hogan that I had dropped solo, right?
Mm,
Um, I feel like there's no way that you can deny that the reason he got booed was because of those racist comments he made all those years back. We
amen.
don't forget about that. And a lot of the contingent of WWE fans, you have a lot of fans of color, black fans.
Hmm.
You have a lot of fans that don't subscribe to that train of thought.
Yep.
I don't necessarily think I don't think it's completely a Trump thing, right? And I'm gonna just say this. I'm gonna say why.
Mm-hmm.
Because in that same night, you got a guy like Triple H who's been to multiple Trump functions and things like that. Got one of the biggest pops of the night. And I'm gonna explain why in a second. Number two, Taker made an appearance to give Rhea Ripley a rub, and give her, what I mean, a boost in her credibility on that Raw.
Hmm.
He got a fucking pop.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna explain that. But you know why it's a difference between those two and Hogan?
None of
It's
them
be
use the N-word for one.
that and they treat people like people. You feel
Hmm.
what I'm saying? I don't see when I seen Taker back in the day, when I see backstage photos of Taker, I see Taker with Yokozuna, I see Taker with Godfather, I see Taker with a whole bunch of brothers doing brother shit.
Hmm.
You get what I'm saying? I ain't never seen him use the N-word. I ain't never heard of him using that.
And Taker's from Texas.
Taker's from Texas.
So
So
for him
there's a
to
different,
be that cool and
yeah,
from the South, this is a lot.
yeah.
I'm not saying every white person from the South, but there's a stigma, right? There's a
But
stigma.
now with Hogan, it's just out there because we already know how he felt because he said it and we heard it.
Hmm.
You dig what I'm saying? So it's a difference there. So that's why, because some people was like, "Oh, why you didn't keep that same energy for Taker?" Because Taker didn't do half the shit that Hogan did.
That's right. That's why I mentioned there are plenty of conservatives that don't believe Trump is racist, right? And there's and don't subscribe to racist stuff.
I was just about to say that, but
You know, that's
like
why I
a
threw that in
couple of
there.
friends, right? A couple of friends around here that I know or clients of mine have been Trump supporters, right? Do I treat them any different?
No,
Do
you
they treat
don't.
me any different?
No, they don't.
So then it's just like it's a human thing. I don't think they might have their different political views and how they feel like shit should be. We should be able to talk about that, agree to disagree, and move on,
Hmm.
right? It's when people use the political views as an excuse to be racist when things become a thing. And so when Hogan, who we already knew had racist views and all that, when he doubled down with the Trump shit, we was like, okay, we know what type of time you on. You get what I'm saying? We already
Hmm.
knew what type of time you were on, so it wasn't no surprise. Now, a guy like Taker, because he was so cool, first off, nobody really thought he was a Trump supporter at first.
Hmm.
But then, even though he declared himself a Trump supporter, I've never seen him be a racist. I've never seen him do racist shit. I've never seen him do that. So I can't judge Taker for his political view, but and try to combine that as his human view.
Right.
But I can do that with Hogan because I've seen both
Right.
sides.
You
You know
know,
what I'm
yeah.
saying?
You know why Hogan's voting the way he's voting. And it
Yeah,
ain't
and
just about the economy.
that's what I'm saying. So that's the difference there, right? So I think that was the only black eye on that Raw, but we done with Raw. But I will say to close that out that I do think that was one of the strongest shows that they've done in a while. Every match had like a main event feel. Um, besides Jey Uso and Drew McIntyre, but I think that was just a good match, and you had to have Jey in there with that entrance of Travis Scott because Travis Scott was there.
Oh shit.
Jey Uso did a whole entrance with him. It was popping. Um, but
You got to have a celebrity pull
they had a lot of
for the
celebrities there.
debut of Raw. You
No,
got
they
to.
had a lot of celebrities. So they had Seth Green. They did, they do the shots of the celebrities. They
Hmm.
had Seth Green. They had Topanga from Boy Meets World, which was
Somebody shared a picture of
bruh,
that to me, and I didn't know that was like current. I
bruh.
thought this is back in the day
That is
photo.
my first white girl crush ever in life, bro. When I was a kid, TJIF was popping.
Yeah.
I don't want to date myself, but TJIF was popping. You feel what I'm saying?
Oh boy.
Topanga was the first one that made me feel something. I was like, ooh,
She was my second.
ooh.
My first was shout out to Amy Jo Johnson,
I knew you was gonna say that. You know why I
and
knew
then
you
it
was
was
gonna say
Danielle
that?
Fishel.
You know why I knew you was gonna say that
Yeah,
though?
what?
It's because I was because the comment I had damn near went viral when they had the clip of 50 and Danielle Fisher Topanga
Mm, mm.
when they met because they recently had met at one of 50 shows and she had gave him a hug and all that.
Oh.
He was like, I feel like I've known you all my life because I've been watching you. You know what I'm saying? I was like, bruh. So I commented, I was like, bruh, that was my first white girl crush ever in my life.
Mm.
So many brothers, Latinos, so many sisters, LGBTQs and all that. They was like, me too. You feel me? I damn near got like 600 likes on that shit. Just on the bruh, and the comments were just like, bruh, me too. And the other one they were saying was Amy Jo Johnson. They was saying that. So I knew you was gonna say that. They was all saying the Pink Ranger. So it was either so here's the consensus.
Mm.
90s baddies, in art for our age, it was Pink Ranger.
Yep.
You feel me? It was most definitely Topanga.
Yep.
Okay. It was Kelly Kapowski from Saved by the Bell because
Oh
a few
yeah,
brothers loved on her too.
yeah,
You
Kelly
feel,
was so
oh, she
cute.
was so fine, bro.
She's
And
cute.
I think that the quintessential was Pam Anderson,
Mm.
but you know what I'm saying, that was just on the white girl tip, right? But then you had your
Trini
you
was cute too.
Trini was
Trini was
beautiful.
cute. Trini
Trina
was beautiful.
Trina was beautiful. But I'm just saying like
You
the
know.
ones that you had in your binder on your
Yes.
binder front.
Yes. I didn't want to shade the Yellow Ranger because I was like
No,
she was also
we
yeah,
can't
she
shade
was
none of
also
that. You
pretty.
feel me? We can't shade none of that.
Mm.
But but the ones you had on your binder was that. And then for the
Yes.
Latinas, you had like a Selena. You feel
Hmm.
me? She was the most beautiful thing ever, bro. Like
Oh
on
man.
everything I love. I would, bro, if she was alive now, I'd risk it all for Selena, bro. Like Salinas, I risk it all for Salinas. You feel me? But and then for like sisters, you had a lot. You had a lot. You had like an Aaliyah,
Oh yeah.
especially when you was our age. You had like an Aaliyah. You had your Brandys, your Monicas.
Oh
You
yeah.
had you had a lot of pretty, beautiful women out there, you know what I'm saying, in the 90s. And
Hmm.
so, and it was natural. It was
Also
just
J Lo for the Latino.
J-Lo was especially like
Man.
late 90s, not for the talent, but for the looks, for sure. But like, you know what I'm saying? And that's just keeping it real. But like, you
You
know what I'm
real.
saying?
You real.
But
Right?
Ashanti can attest to that, you feel me? But look, hey, this is the most honest reviews and the most honest opinions. We just saying. But look, that was just like that era. You feel what I'm saying? So to see her on there, she's still looking good. To see Topanga still looking good. And I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be like that.
I
But
feel you
she's
though.
like one of the few like Caucasian women that done aged.
Gracefully.
Bah!
Like fine.
What do you mix with?
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
ain't
she
get them
got a
lips
little,
from
she
there.
got she got a little bit of olive tone skin. I'm
I said,
wondering.
girl, you ain't get them lips from there.
You,
I ain't gonna lie. I was always like, oh, I want to kiss Topanga. That was my thing as a
yo,
youngster. You
you
feel
know
me?
what's hilarious? I seen somebody they had a list
Fuck, I got
on
on.
Ranker.
I done went on the fucking Topanga
Yes,
tangent.
so this is the last bit here. They had a list on Ranker I seen a few weeks ago where it was like things that got people banned or blocked from social media, like by celebrities.
Yeah,
And some dude, I guess it was on Twitter, had seen a picture. Danielle had put up a picture of her and her real life husband
oh man, don't do
kissing,
that,
and
Danielle.
somebody cut out that person's head and it put Corey's head in its place, and it said there. I
Oh,
fixed
he
it.
did Corey's head. I did mine, cuz you
He
feel
said
me?
there.
I feel you though, because that's the
But
crazies.
that was like a girl that did that. You know what
Oh,
I mean?
well, it would be. But
It's like
like, nah.
there, I fixed it.
I'm like,
That's all that I was like, oh my god.
hey, that was the quintessential couple though. You wanted to see them together, bro. I watched that show over
You
like,
blocked him, and I said, now you know.
come on, you didn't need to block.
You didn't need to
You didn't
block.
need to block them.
You didn't need to block.
You feel me? But like,
Danielle, you know what it is.
you know what it is. When you the first white girl crush of everybody, and when you and Corey was the quintessential relationship, bro. Everybody wanted to see y'all get back together.
For
When
real.
y'all broke up, and then he had to go back to Disney World to get your ass back. You remember? I remember that
Classic.
shit. I don't want. You know what?
Classic.
But I'd have risked it all for her too. I'd have went down. Hey, if she would have broke up with me in California, guess what? My ass would have been down there in Florida. I'd have Greyhound that bitch. I don't know. I'd have used all my allowance like Corey did. Like on some real shit. That was the first real like romance. We had
Definitely.
we had Martin and Gina, and we had Corey and Topanga.
Yep.
Those was our two. You feel me?
Oh, damn,
Damn,
Gina.
and they was a little more toxic.
Yeah.
This was the pure love. You feel me? We talking
And
pure love.
it was like young, naive love,
Young,
right?
naive love.
And
You
they were
go
closer
through
to us in age,
you
so
going through it, you meet other people, but the love still lasts and it don't matter. You feel me? That's why I say sometimes when I go through with a child, that's my Topanga. You feel me? We still gonna mess around.
yep. And you know the difference between like that show and like the Martin show was going, they're toxic because it's comedic,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Whereas Boy Meets World was a dramedy. It had bits of comedy mixed with some drama.
Yeah.
So it
Let's
was,
get off this,
yeah,
man.
you're right, you're right.
You know
We're
what?
on nostalgia
'Cause I
train
will
right
be
now.
talking about Topanga all night if I got to. You feel what I'm saying? But let's
Yeah.
let's jump on Dynamite.
All right.
Um, First of all, like I said, I think this was the second week, especially I treat I'm treating I'm treating Dynamite now since they started with Max and are doing simulcast. I'm treating Dynamite these last 2 weeks as a new season.
Yeah.
Where we're wiping the slate and where we're going straight from here. Like I said last week, I thought that it was a great jumping off point for somebody. If you didn't watch AEW before, it was a good opportunity to kind of just jump in, right?
Hmm.
Okay. This I think was a good follow-up. I think that as we go and give our opinions on things, we'll kind of be able to see how well the show flowed. I thought it flowed pretty well.
It was, yep. Agreed.
Um, and so first and foremost, first match, let's just jump into it.
Yep.
Well, for me, this is one of the best matches in the last 7 days, right, of the new year.
Hmm.
Will Ospreay and Buddy Matthews.
I've been a fan of Will's since that series of matches he did with Ricochet. Been a
Okay.
fan of both of them since then.
Yeah. It's crazy
Like
that they both
they're
the same company, right?
it's nuts.
Yeah.
And they're such like, but to focus on this match and Will in particular,
Go for it.
you know what I mean? This is the first time we've ever talked about him on the show. I can give a little bit of rundown. Like, he's an incredible athlete.
He is.
Like, even though he's been doing this for like quite a long time, he still moves like he's got another 30 years in him. You know, and it's just
He might have another 30
you
years.
feel
Shit.
me?
He's young.
You know,
He is
like
young.
so to see, I don't care what the bitter old man says. You know who I'm talking about. Like it's a joy to watch him wrestle.
Hmm.
You know.
Hmm.
Like,
Osprey is great.
sorry, Jim, but I think he's
Hey,
great.
let everybody, but that's the thing about it in wrestling. It's like so many different flavors and styles, right? And
Hmm.
I felt like this match was an example of that because I feel like Buddy, even though he's similar build or size, he's a similar size, but he's a bigger build.
Yep.
And he uses more of a ground-based power game. Like he uses his athletic explosiveness,
Hmm.
but at the same time there's still speed, there's still a lot of things. Will is still high flying and doing all these things. So I think, like you said, if you had a preference of styles, I think these two were a good differentiator.
Oh yeah. And like both of these guys can go. I mean,
No doubt about that.
as I said, the ground and pound fellow may not be flying all over the place, but I he was still active.
Oh, that dude can
You
go.
know what I
Buddy
mean?
can
Like
go. It's no secret.
Buddy was really just, in to compare products real quick, because a part of the show is a little bit comparing one to the other.
We don't
Like
want to do that too
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 much,
much.
too
Yeah, yeah,
much. But
yeah.
a guy like Buddy in old school E anyway would have moved a lot. They would have told him, relax, move a little slower, just throw him around a little bit, couple power bombs.
Yeah.
No, this dude acted like Will. This dude was in there like Will was a threat. You believe that both of them were equally threats to each other, and like it just I love to see that kind of match.
I don't want to get in trouble. I
Mm,
don't want to get in trouble
for
too
sure.
much or anything like that. But I will, you know who Buddy remind me of?
Who you thinking?
Chris Benoit.
You know what?
Chris Benoit. Like
Yeah.
he might not be the biggest, but he's intense. He has the ability to like out wrestle you. He has the speed. He has the ability to strike. He has all of those things.
The
So he
only thing
remind me of like a modern Chris
Oh
Benoit. You
yeah.
feel
The
me?
only thing he didn't have was a submission, yeah?
Yeah, I don't like Chris was a better submission wrestler.
Mm.
But I think as far as just like
The
what you can do with the size you have,
Oh yeah.
Buddy
No.
reminds me of Benoit.
He's like Rabbit Wolverine Part 2 for sure.
Yeah, with a more versatile move set.
Hmm.
And I like that's why I said I didn't want to like ruffle too many feathers with it because the thing
Because we're
is
just talking about skills, y'all.
just that's it. Like we all know he's
Style.
a piece of shit for what he did, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm just talking about skills. All right, we ain't gonna be bringing his name up too much, but I just wanted to say that that's who he reminded me of, and that's a massive compliment because wrestling skill wise, there's no denying how good Benoit was.
Oh yeah.
All right, so we'll get off of that name though, but that's who he reminded me of, and so to have him mesh so well with somebody who's a little speedier and a little more of a high flyer. That just shows how well those styles can coalesce. You don't have to choose one over the other. Both can work and both can work well together, especially when you have those caliber of talents. Um, and this was a great match, back and forth.
I just love the burning hammer.
Hmm.
I thought he was going to do a full on burning hammer, but he
Hmm.
didn't. He ended up like maneuvering it into like what he dropped him on the knee.
Facts.
And but the fact that he set up for it, executed it so well, the stomp, something as simple as the stomp,
Hmm. Oh, he put his
like
head in the ground with that stomp. That was amazing.
normally I don't like the sort of simple punch kick moves like that as like a big sort of, oh, I'm gonna get the pin off that. But the way that Osprey sold it and the way that he hit it looked so vicious that you
It did.
just couldn't help but like appreciate it. You know, it was a work
It
of
looked
art.
amazing. It looked amazing. And we get to the finish of the match. We're getting some hidden blades in here. Osprey wins with the hidden blade, I believe, correct?
Yes, he did.
And afterwards, it was an interesting segment that prop that Will and Buddy had afterwards. Will's giving him this props and basically was telling him that, him and Brody King, who along with Malachi Black comprised the House of Black faction, and Julia Hart, shout out to her too, that comprised that faction, that, those guys, you guys don't need to follow a leader or anything like that. Or, what I mean, you guys can win singles gold and do all these things on your own, or tag gold, whatever you want. And he was telling Buddy, if you ever need somebody to watch your back or anything, then I'm your guy. Okay. So
I loved
first,
it,
I loved it too, and it opened up a couple of possibilities, but the internet started interneting. Okay.
as the internet does.
As they do. And so the first thing everybody's assuming is Malachi Black is leaving AEW.
Mm.
And going back probably 9 times out of 10 to WWE, right?
Remind me,
Now,
who was he in the E?
Aleister Black.
Oh, okay, that's right.
For the guy, most of his great stuff was in NXT over there, right? When you get to the main roster, it's an interesting situation,
Mhm.
especially because I think they were under that Vince lens,
Yeah,
and so it's a little different. But I don't know, like if he does leave, because I don't know either way, one way or the other. Malachi Black is a phenomenal wrestler, no matter what, and that's coming from another wrestler who's up and coming. He's one of the best wrestlers out there. If he does go back to the E, more power to him. If you feel like you can get a better shot and a bigger bag, do what you do because that's what it is right now. It's about wrestlers getting what they can get out of this business. It wasn't like this ever, and besides the Attitude Era, I think.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Where
That
it's
was the
wide
last
open,
time it was like this.
where it's wide open for people to really get some money and making a living for themselves.
Hmm.
Um, so no, get your money, man. And if he stays in AEW, same thing. I have a lot of respect for the guy. He seems like a nice guy. I love the House of Black stable. So we'll see where it goes. We'll see where it goes. I love the match. We'll give it a star rating in a second. Um, I love the match. I love the mystery of everything going forward after it.
Yep.
We'll see what happens because for all we know, Malachi could show up on Collision and be like, "What the fuck, guys?" And it could be a whole nother thread of a story, or it could be to the E. But I love the mystery of it all. So we'll see. We'll see. All right. So then after that, we had, and you know what? I will say one last thing.
For sure.
I will say one last thing. Whatever they do with Osprey next, make it something really good because that guy's too good not to be. Could if you made him world champion, I wouldn't be mad. But
Amen.
like, I also see the build and where they're going with it. He'll be there within the next year. All
Heck
right.
yeah.
All right. So, second segment, private party
Oh, we're gonna
comes up.
rate the match, right?
Oh yeah, let's rate the match. So what do you give it?
You know what? I don't want to hand out 5 stars too easily.
This
But God,
Osprey be collecting 5-star
God,
matches,
I just,
bro.
I have 5, man. I have
That's
no
fair.
critiques. I
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
no critiques.
Yeah.
Everything was, I mean, everything is all compliments and flowers.
You know, the thing about it is, especially if you're a wrestling fan, just a fan of professional wrestling and different styles and how people coalesce and make those styles work in a match, this was art.
Yes,
This was art.
absolutely.
Um, Five. Yeah, in ring five.
Just
I
gave me
love
no choice.
yeah, in ring five. You had two of the best, but it shouldn't be a surprise. You have two of the really best wrestlers in the world. And I think Buddy this year has the opportunity to really stamp himself as that. Just keep giving bangers. Keep giving bangers. And AEW keep booking that man. All right.
Please.
All right. 5 stars on that. Next, Private Party comes out. They're basically celebrating their title wins, I believe, on like Collision and all of these things.
Hmm.
They've been successful the last few weeks, shouting out the fans, talking about how excited they are for the future, all that stuff.
And they had a VIP private party.
Yeah, you know they have the VIP lounge. That's their thing. But we know we're gonna get into that though because the VIP lounge gets taken over by the man with the original VIP lounge. You feel what I'm saying? Gets interrupted, which was a cool callback, right?
I
And
like
a
that.
cool little Easter
He's like,
egg.
I started this, you know that,
You
yeah.
yeah, but if
That was dope.
unless you were a long-term fan, you wouldn't get it. But it's an Easter egg that's really nice, right? And to see how those things kind of like translate over through different eras, it's beautiful. So MVP and the Hurt Syndicate come out. And yeah, like so they MVP and those guys, they come out, give them a little love, give them a little dap. Private Party's a little excited. They're very excited to
Yeah.
have them there. Ain't no hateration or holleration, and they dancery. You feel me? You feel shout out to Mary. She, but they show him props, MVP, you know what I mean? Give a toast, talking about these great young men and great athletes and how successful they've been. And then Lashley do toss a little hateration and holleration in this dancery. You feel me? And
Yeah.
basically say that they're gonna take those tag titles off of them and they leave
Yeah.
and
They
just
toasted
let
to it.
them stuck
Toasted to it.
and dump. They didn't even drink the shot.
They said,
Dumped it.
here's to taking your belts.
Yeah, and left. And
Here's to
left.
y'all being champions. Here's to us taking the belts.
And
Like,
so look, here's my thing. I love Private Party. Private Party is a great tag team. I've actually waited a long time for them to win tag team gold. It's been a long time. They've been like originals since like the original show. Like so they've been in it 5 years, just won the titles. But listen, if you put them against the Hurt Syndicate, they cannot win. Yeah. So like let's hey, if you gonna do this, let's give Private Party some good wins in between this, in between time, in the meantime. I don't remember when the next pay-per-view is. We should look that up in a second. But I don't know when you know what? I think it's Revolution, and that's in March. So they have a couple months to kind of do some things.
there are Australian shows coming up too, right? They were
Grand
talking about
Slam
that.
Australia. Yes. So I think that's in a few weeks too. So
Hmm.
that'll be before Revolution.
Yeah.
Um, because there's no way. No way. Like there are ways, but at this point where the syndicate eh, like
You know what might
nah,
be
dog,
fun? You know what
nah.
might be fun
What's up?
is they reveal that there is a play on language here, which is when we said we were going to take the titles, we didn't mean we were going to take them from you. We meant you were going to join our group.
That would be cool, but I don't see it playing out like that. But that
Yeah,
could be cool. And if they did that, that would be awesome. We're gonna talk about the Hurt Syndicate a little later too. But but I do I do see the need for some more members, but maybe not right this instant.
for sure.
But yeah, Private Party. Like if they're I would have them wrestle the Hurt Syndicate at Revolution because then that gives them 6 to 8 weeks of a great title reign. They can be having great matches, really solidify themselves as champions.
Right. No
and
sense in
then drop it. Because there's no sense in having them go against the Hurt Syndicate any point in time before that because they're
it's
gonna.
like they just got the belts.
So
And
give them a
Hurt,
couple months.
yeah, and the
Give them a
Hurt
couple
Syndicate
months.
is clearly being pushed as like the more powerful force.
Brother, brother, they to me, they might be the most over thing they got right now. Like every time they come out, the song, we heard people, I hear the crowd chanting it. MVPs over here literally making these guys sound and look like the stars they are. Shelton's been on a tear ever since he started at AEW.
What?
I
Yep,
haven't seen Shelton be this good and presented this good since his debut,
man,
since his single debut
ain't you
when he
telling him?
I'm saying he's been having win or lose, and he ain't lost much, but win or lose, he's been having killer matches, and he looks like a killer every time. Lashley, you don't even need to say nothing about that. That guy, if you another guy that if you said I'm gonna put Lashley against Mox today and put that title on Lashley, I wouldn't say shit because that whole stable, as long as they book it the right way, it's money.
Yep.
Money. Like, that's the team you need to have going against the Death Riders. That's that's the most believable squad to beat the Death Rider. And you don't even need look, you don't even need to add no extra people. Just put Lashley and Shelton in that
That's
motherfucker.
true.
That's it.
That's true.
That's it.
That's true. Just
That's all you
turn him
need.
face and then have them sick him against the Ghost Riders.
You don't even need that.
Mm,
Just say Just say somebody offered them some money to take these niggas out.
that's fair enough. Yeah.
We hurt people. We don't care whether you good or we hurt people.
That's fair.
You feel me? With the if the money's good, we hurt people. I'm gushing over the presentation of the Hurt Syndicate.
But I really,
WWE could never do it.
I really liked the tension during that segment where you're not really sure where this is going to go. And like, because it could go either way. And that's just
Listen,
masterful
man.
storytelling. Anybody that ever said,
Mhm.
like, that the AEW can't tell stories, that segment alone proves that they're pretty damn good at telling stories.
Listen, bro. All I know is this. We need to tell a story. Because when you put them in the ring, it's gonna be a great match, no
Oh, yeah.
doubt. But there's one clear-cut winner.
Yeah.
Like there's no point in time within the next 6 to 8 months where Lashley's shoulders should touch a mat.
I know. No, I didn't mean
No, I'm
in the
just saying in
match.
general.
I just meant in the
I'm not
segment.
saying
Like, are
that.
they going to beat the ass?
Oh no,
Are
no,
they
no, no,
gonna,
no, no, no.
are they gonna,
No, it was this was a good segment.
yeah,
This was a good build to
yeah,
what's coming. But and it also raised people's eyebrows because we're like, oh, I want that. I
yep.
didn't even know I wanted that, but I
Now I
want
want it.
that.
Yeah,
You know? And I wouldn't be mad if that was the first set of titles they won. All right. So now we're gonna get off that because I'm thoroughly interested in where they go from there.
hmm
Um, then we go into straight singles match. Lashley makes his way to the ring. We don't know who he's facing. Then we hear "Reach for the sky, boy." You know what I'm saying? We know it's Mark Briscoe coming out. He's beloved.
Oh yeah.
Rest in peace, Jay. Um, and I really like this match.
No, this match
I
was
really
really good,
liked it.
and like I appreciated how like they both play up the idea that Jay Briscoe's pulling out all stops.
All the stops.
You
All the
know,
stops.
and honestly, like had this been a match on the other side of the pond, as it were, it
Oh,
would
this
have
would have been
been
a squash.
yeah, it would have been a squash
This would have been
because
3 minutes.
they're building Lashley up. But this
Yeah.
was a competitive match.
And I love it.
And dude still had to kind of fight for his life, but we believed that maybe there was a chance he might have actually won. And it
Hmm.
was more involved and
Hmm.
entertaining because of it.
Hmm.
And like um
It was. I gotta agree.
former AEW champ going up against the guy that's currently the hottest thing smoking in the company right now, out of the hottest stable
Yeah.
smoking in the company right now, with
Facts.
MVP
Facts.
on the
Love the
sidelines
commentary
doing
too.
commentary,
Love the commentary.
and it was such good commentary. Like
That is right up our alley.
the bit where,
That the heel comments, I love it.
yes,
Keep
yes,
doing it.
I'm not going to lie because I was a little less, I'm less familiar with the other commentators that were doing their thing,
Uh,
right?
uh,
I was disappointed opening when they were like, yeah, Tony's on a mission. He's not here this week. Tony
yeah,
Schiavone.
yeah.
Tony Schiavone,
He's a great
he is
commentator.
one of the voices of my childhood, right? Like him, Mike Tenay, you know, uh just to me and Joey
They're
Styles.
they're icons.
They're like the
They're
gold
icons.
standards for me when it comes to announcing.
Right.
So, but I gotta say, the commentary team was solid and it got a huge boost when MVP sat next to him.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved it.
Like the way he framed, like he's cheating. Well, he didn't actually hit him with the chair.
No, he's
He's using
cheating.
these.
Disqualified.
Yeah, he's great. It's great.
It
You
was
know what I
great.
mean? And then they point out, like, well, you go in there and interfere all the time, and he's not actually hitting him with it. I don't know. It was the gaslighting was great.
It was
Like
great. No, that's why I was saying. I was like, I
perfect.
really enjoyed the whole thing. I love the different wrinkle that Mark Briscoe's desperate kind of offense played and gave to Lashley in a way, because I've never seen Lashley really have to encounter those kind of things. And it's cool to see how he deals with it.
Hmm.
And then afterwards, yeah, you only need those three moves: spear, fucking, you know what I'm saying, spine buster, hurt lock. That's all you need.
Now, what's that move?
What's up?
He had Jay Briscoe on his shoulder, sort of like he had it's like holding a bazooka in an arm, and
Mhm.
then he rolled him off. What is that's?
I don't have a name for that one. I don't remember the name for that
I
one, but it
really
was
like
great.
that.
It was a really good one. Um, but I really liked this match. I thought Lashley looked really good. I thought, even like I said, Mark Briscoe looked good in defeat. It
Oh
was a
yeah,
fun match, and like I said, it presented a new wrinkle and a new challenge for Lashley, right? So you haven't encountered something like Mark Briscoe, and so we knew he was gonna win, but like you said, there were a couple spots in there where it was like, oh shit,
yeah. Like he
um,
might actually pull this off.
yeah,
Like he's working his ass off right now. And then when you are cheering for the guy who was booked to lose, I
yeah,
think that's
that's a big thing.
that's a big thing.
That's
That's
a
a
big
big
thing.
thing. Like
That's a
so when
fact.
both dudes look credible and the guy you're actually pushing to get over gets over, but then the other guy still is like, oh, you still have respect for the other guys here.
Yeah. No, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. After the match, after Lashley knocked that man out with that hurt lock, they put a little more hurting on him,
Oh yeah.
and Private Party makes the save with the chairs. They go on the break, right? All right, so now we know, for the most part, we're gonna get Private Party in the Hurt Syndicate,
Hmm.
meaning we're gonna get new AEW Tag Team Champions at some
Eventually.
point. And
Eventually.
that's why I said at some point, right? Because I think that Private Party needs some wins, and I think they need to solidify their reign and be, solidify as legitimate. But after that, yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
But that's like ready made. All right, now we can get
What are we
into.
rating it?
That's a good question. What would you rate? I'm gonna let you go first on that,
Okay.
and then I'll
You,
take first out for the.
you know what? I gotta give it another
Oh,
5.
I can't go that far.
I
I can't
I
go that
I
far.
have no complaints about this match at all. Like
I
I
don't
like
have
the
any
way it
complaints
ended.
about it. Go ahead.
I like the way that it ended.
Mhm.
I like the story that it told.
Mhm.
Like the creative way, like, and maybe because I don't watch a whole lot of like Jay Briscoe
Mhm.
or Mark Briscoe,
Mhm.
but like introducing the suckering bit with the chair, hiding underneath the apron,
Yeah, it was clever. It was
like
clever.
the kind of throwback to, shout out to Sabu using the chair as a
Shout out to
springboard.
Sabu.
Like
Shout out to Sabu.
that was a high quality match. Like
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
what's your rating?
I give it a 4. I'm gonna give it a 4. I really enjoyed it, but I just felt like, okay, when I give a 5, and this is just me.
Hmm.
So for me, a difference between a 4 and a 5. for me,
Hmm.
I can in like a 4-star rating match, I can have no complaints about it,
For sure.
right? But then I just feel like for this, the reason I'm giving it a 4 is because I just felt like there wasn't that high velocity gear to where you're just like, oh, who.
I feel you.
You feel me? But it had enough to where it was really good and you believed that Mark had a chance. So I'll give it a 4, even just because I feel like it was a foregone conclusion Lashley would win.
Yeah,
But I do think they had a really good match out of that. So it's not a bad match. It's a great match. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I'm just not gonna give it a perfect rating just because of that. I already expected Lashley to win.
for sure.
But I do get what you're saying as far as like the nuances and things like that, and I see why you would. I'm just saying on
And
my
also,
end,
like, you have watched more AEW backlog than I have.
I have,
So for me, I'm going in colder. So my
which is fine, which
expectations
is
of
fine.
him winning are a little bit lower than yours.
But that's why I kind of love the dynamic of the show
Mm.
is because like this could be somebody your attitude is the same as somebody who's a newer AEW viewer
Mm-hmm.
that just might have just seen it on Max.
Yeah,
You feel what I'm saying? And mine is somebody I seen the
you're a
first
longtime
show.
fan. Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So both work.
heck yeah,
Yeah, so I get it though. I get why you would rate it that and yeah, this but it was like either way you go, really good match.
for
Really good
sure.
match. All right. Casino Gauntlet. Casino Gauntlet. You know what? You know what? This was a really exciting
Yes,
match
it
with
was.
a very very surprising conclusion which I'm personally happy about. But yo, the first thing Jay White comes out, right? And Jay White's a really Switchblade is a really interesting character for me because I feel like he's maybe top 3 that I would maybe make the next champion.
Okay.
Um, the other two would be like Lashley, and I think if we're going through story and like maybe tracing back a few months, I think the guy they are gonna wind up having beat Moxley, and you could probably quote me on this,
Mm-hmm.
is Darby Allin. Um,
Okay, I can see that.
I think that's gonna be what happens. But Jay White has been on a little bit of a tear. I'm enjoying his work so much the last few weeks, man. He's the definition right now of a tweener.
Mm.
He he plays to the crowd a little bit, but he gets his shit in like a heel, and I love it. But his second, the number 2 spot went to Hangman, who is another guy who doesn't really fall in the face or heel category completely. I feel like if you're looking at it, both of them are tweeners. Jay leans a little more into the face route, and Hangman leans a little more into the
Mm.
heel route, but you can't just place them there.
Right. I mean,
You know?
right, and Hangman is well beloved because of his also because of his AEW his sorry Bullet Club background. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. And there were a lot of Bullet Club members in this too. There was a lot of Bullet Club history in this little gauntlet. We had guys like Hangman, Adam Cole, who
Yeah. When
brought
he came out, I
Hangman
was like,
in, you know.
all right.
Yeah, it was really interesting dynamics, right? And then the list of guys that they had coming out for this match, you had a guy like Ricochet. Like I said, I brought up Adam Cole. You got Lance Archer. You got all these guys, right? They were like we can bring out some of these names
They were
because
phenomenal
it
there.
was a really who's who of like wrestling. If you're a wrestling purist, you knew a lot of these names, right? And so I was just thoroughly impressed. Like Daniel Garcia, we had Jeff J. We're gonna get to that.
Almost.
We almost had him. Wheeler Yuta. Wheeler Yuta was a little fucker in this match. You know what I'm saying? He was a little bastard. Um,
Which
I
a
loved
great
it.
heel right
I loved
there.
it. And that's how you elevate a talent though, right? Now you have him in the sights of a guy like Jay White, right, who lasted and was a really shining star in this match, but couldn't get it done because of a guy like Wheeler Yuta, always picking and prying to make sure he didn't get to his leader, right?
Hmm.
Um, and then I like the whole match in general, but man, oh man, whew, the winner.
My God.
The winner. But first, I do have to say I see that they reunite. They're really reuniting the Undisputed Kingdom, the Undisputed Era, which it was like Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong. I've seen a lot of their triple team moves and all that type of stuff. On Dynamite. I thought that was pretty cool. So keep them together because I think like together they're really, really good. But Powerhouse Hobbs, man, Powerhouse Hobbs,
Making a statement.
Bay Area boy. East Palo Alto. Shout out to him.
Shout out to East Palo Alto.
Shout out
Shout
to
out to him.
EPA. You know what I'm saying? I know he got folks in the town too. Shout out to Oakland. Um, and I've seen him at the Cow Palace. My brother Elliot Rey has actually met him. He said he's a really cool guy. Um, look, and 9 times out of 10, since he does like BTW and a lot of like some of these local shows, I'll meet him in the future.
Heck
But
yeah.
I really am happy for him. uh Bay Area boy, like I said. And with him, that's another guy where I don't feel like you have to like all the way certify him as a face or a heel. Just let him be a badass.
Yeah.
Because
He's
anybody that
definitely
he's
a
walking
tweener.
up on, they ain't about to try to do nothing with him.
Pretty much.
And that's gonna play out into the next couple of things, right? But even with the interview after. And him saying, I'm next one, I'm gonna make John Moxley my bitch. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I believe him. You know what I'm saying? Like,
And nobody's rooting for John Moxley right now for certain.
it's
So
like, no, no, certainly not.
yeah,
But
because John's doing his job
he's doing his job.
as
He's
a
being a
heel.
great heel, right? Some people have they skewed opinion of like what the Death Riders and John Moxley thing is, but I feel like once again, it's easy to slam some when it's in the early developments of storytelling.
Hmm.
I think where they're going now with stuff, where there's multiple people that's vying for the title, multiple people that John Moxley has to look around for. You know what I mean? You got a guy like Jay White who's on your ass. You got a guy like Will Hobbs that you have to face next week. Then you got a
Hmm.
guy like Cope, who we're about to talk about, who's breathing down your neck too. So there's so many like different facets, different things. And then we get to the heartbreaker, Jeff Jarrett, right?
After the match, Hobbs, if I recall correctly, leaves the ring. Jeff Jarrett is standing there
But
in
even
disbelief.
before that,
Hmm.
Jeff Jarrett, even before like when before the match even ends, when Jeff Jarrett's music hit, I've never in my life been in a situation where I've seen Jeff Jarrett get cheered like that. Like
Yeah,
that,
man, I can't.
there's something going on. You gotta give like even if you don't like AEW, you gotta give them credit because they got you niggas cheering
Cheering for
Jeff
Jeff Jarrett.
Jarrett. But Jeff Jarrett,
Jeff Jarrett wasn't even cheered this heartily in his own promotion.
brother.
That's
Even after
crazy.
coming back from injuries and shit, they was like, I know you gonna turn heel. Yeah, fuck you. It was like, well, this is the first real pure for me. Jeff Jarrett face run. I've never thought in a million years that I would want Jeff Jarrett to do well and wrestle like and no, not like that, but like it's just kayfabe,
Yeah,
like kayfabe.
for real.
But like, but I
I
just
mean,
never.
there was that brief moment for me when he kind of when he kind of like committed infidelity with Kurt
No,
Angle.
we ain't going
Like,
there. We ain't
briefly,
going
I was
there.
like,
We ain't
personally, I
going
don't like
there.
you, but like after
Listen,
that, I
and he's
forgave him.
still winner. We ain't
Yeah,
going there.
I'm just
Like,
saying there was a
now,
moment in
now,
time.
I ain't going
I'm just
there.
saying there
I
was
ain't going
one
there. I
moment in time.
promise that I would filter myself a little
Yeah,
bit. Listen,
yeah.
listen. We ain't going there.
I didn't mean to dwell on it. I just said there for me there was one
Why
moment
you
in time,
gotta bring Kurt
and
into
it was
this?
brief. It was brief.
Listen, come on. Anyway, so listen, so listen. I just feel like this is this is this is something I gotta credit Tony Khan on, right? And
Hmm.
AEW on is because I've never felt because I don't think he's gonna win the AEW world title. But what if he did?
And that
That's the
is the
thing.
question.
That's the
That is the
thing.
hook.
That's the
That
like,
what
what
if
if he
the
did
tease?
though? And then we get the fallout after the Willa Yuta interference. Like you said, Hobbs after the match comes out, shakes his hand on his way back.
Hmm.
Jeff Jarrett makes his way to the ring. And he says to who I think it was Ian Riccaboni who was interviewing him, and he basically said, you wonder sometimes when things like this happen if you still got what it takes. In comes the devil. So,
The
so
music goes so hard.
in,
Like
in
that music of his is catchy as fuck.
dun, 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 dun.
You know.
In comes the devil. And it's not me saying that, he calls himself that.
Hmm.
MJF. Now, a
The
lot.
first thing that man says when he comes out, he's like, he addresses the interviewers as get your Bible thumping
Your
ass
ass
out of
out of
here.
here,
I
bro.
was like, I didn't know that he was a religious man, but and
Hey,
this fits
hey,
perfectly within context of the you
it
need
is
everything you need to know about MJF as a character is in that statement right
right there.
there.
Yeah. But I
Like,
loved it. But that's what makes MJF MJF is the guy. He's the guy that can say it and get away with it. And it's not like he's not like that 24. He literally lives the gimmick. He's an
yeah.
asshole at signings. He's an asshole to children. He doesn't sign autographs. I love
He's
it.
very old school.
Mhm.
Or he might just be a jerk in real life. But like we don't
No,
know.
I think he's probably decent. I think he's probably a decent guy.
It could be. But he is kayfabed it
Nah,
up.
you know what though? Because everybody used to talk about there was two sides to Ming from WCW.
Ah, yeah.
The guy used to legendarily tear your damn nose off and beat the hell out of you. And so I've heard some
Yep.
stories about Ming. But there was also in real life, he was the nicest guy in the world. So you never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
That's true. That's true.
But,
Uh,
but,
but yeah, no, this exchange, this appeal
do you want to cover?
to Jeff Jarrett,
Yeah, go for it.
like I'm not going front. He the self-prescribed devil, the way that like the people talk about the devil's that he's a great tempter and that he comes with this very appealing sort of to your selfish sensibilities, to your desires, and it's very twisted in a way, and you get the sense that he is proposing the deal for the devil. And I'm not gonna lie, I was putting myself in Jeff Jarrett's shoes, and even I was a little tempted to say yes. He wasn't even talking to me. That's how good MJF is in this character role.
I like
And
it.
like
I like it.
the idea that I'm gonna help you get where you want to be
So I can
so
get
that I
mine.
can get my title back.
Yeah.
Like we called it what is Triple B,
Hmm.
right? My
The
Triple B,
big Burberry belt.
my Triple B. And then we're waiting in silence because then Jeff Jarrett is playing it close to the vest. We don't know what he's thinking. His performance in this was great. He's just quietly listening and mulling it over, and we're like, is he deciding or has he already made up his mind?
Can I cut for one
Go
thing?
ahead.
Do you know what made that so interesting? Is because Jeff Jarrett has always had the history of being a bastard
Yeah.
in wrestling, so you never put it past him.
You're like, is he gonna say? He's
Is he
gonna
gonna
say
do
yes.
it? Is he
He's,
gonna
he's gonna
not?
say yes, isn't he?
Yeah.
Like,
Hold on. Real quick. Just hold your thought. Yo,
Signing.
so check it out. We on sicko mode right now. Elliot Ray just hit me up.
I know you were not. Oh my God.
You are on the mic right now.
Glad you said something.
We covering Dynamite right now. So now we talking about the MJF Jeff Jarrett situation and all that.
I'm gonna have to watch and get brought up to speed.
So I gotta like most definitely chat with you like once we done here. But nah, check out Dynamite because it's something I want to do with you. No Diddy. Also, awesome. That's how it is on there, y'all. But I want to talk to you about something. But also, brother, congratulations on your match with Alpha Zoe, putting
Hey,
yourself on the map. You know what I'm saying? Another TKC member here. 2025, he got gold coming in his way. Where you at?
Oh man, I just left the dojo. Shout out Oasis Pro.
Yeah, yeah.
Weekend, weekend.
You already know.
My shoulders are shot.
I believe it.
That's all.
Dad, you doing them Samoan bump drills?
It was just a lot of back and shoulder work at the dojo today. Strength training plus conditioning. I'm probably upwards of 150 burpees today. You
God
know how
dang.
much I love those.
We love those.
But it's all good. It's good work getting put in. Yeah, I'm gonna get home and see how much I can watch because I got a whole lot of things going, some big things going on in the next 24 hours. So
Yep. We in Benicia.
but yeah, I'll make sure to get that.
Once we get done with the cast and everything, I'll give you a call, all right?
Jeff Jarrett knows how to work into and cling on to a position. But man,
We literally was just talking about this.
wait,
Me and my bro Joaquin.
yep.
oh, Joaquin's up in there right now.
Yep, and he right here. Say what's
Hey,
up.
what's up?
What's happening, dog?
Yeah.
Hey, man, I'm having a great time reviewing this show.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Yeah. We all gonna get on. Nigga, I got a whole new mic. The new webcam is coming. We got a new mic. You see how Christmas? You heard that Christmas in the last couple videos? We got a new mic. Got a new mic, new spotlight. We getting a new webcam next week. It's going down. You feel me? So yeah, let's connect and let's do some things. I wanted to pitch some to you because like me and my brother Joaquin, right? And you can we just teasing. But like me and Joaquin, we do the dynamites.
yep.
I might do Raws, right? But I was thinking maybe me and you and if Joaquin want in on this, he could do it too. Maybe we do a show where we just cover the week in wrestling,
That'd be cool.
Hey,
where
yeah.
we cover just everything that done went on. We could take notes, things we want to bring up, just little things. We ain't got to get too crazy, but we just address the things, address the shows, all the shit.
Yeah, hell yeah.
You ain't got to be too in depth. We'll save that for you.
Exactly. So I think that would be dope. But we'll chat. We're gonna get back to this. I'm gonna let you get back to, get back over there safe. And then once we done with the cast, I'll call you, all right, brother?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And where they can find you at, where they can find the brother, the pusher man, the Titan, Elliot Rey from TKC at.
Just about every social there is in Lorenzo Fields underscore LORENZO Fields underscore. That's on Twitter, now X. That's on Instagram. You can find me on TikTok. I need to work on that more, but that's Lorenzo Fields 2 underscores on that one. Yeah, tap in, let me know.
Yeah, tap in with them. Check us out on TKC Wrestling. That's our whole clique. And yo, we got things coming up. Like he said, we in Benicia tomorrow. A lot of things going down. We in Richmond next month. It's gonna be a lot. My brother covering Oasis. We gonna kill it in SCW because we ain't forgot about them contracts. It's a lot of things going down. So big business, man. Where crowns over here. You already fucking know. All right, man. Be safe, and I'll be back with you once we're done.
For sure.
All right, for sure, brother.
Oh wait, the Richmond show's in February?
Think late February, early March.
It's the 18th of January. Oh,
We'll cover it. We'll
okay,
cover it.
for sure.
So it's two different things I'm talking about.
Okay.
But let's get back to it. Let's
Yeah.
get back. That was Elliot Rey. That was crazy. Great call in from we didn't even expect that. That's my brother TKC member, Kingpin Collective member, Pusher Man Elliot Rey. Like I said, he just had a great bout with Alpha Zoe in Oasis. Shout out to Alpha Zoe. That's another one of my I got a crazy list of trainers, right? So Alpha Zoe, the Brown Bomber Rob Thompson, um, Papo Esco, freaking like I said, Alpha Zoe, Jacob Fatu, you know what I'm saying? Parisi, you know what I'm saying? A lot of the island boys, Juicy Finale, you know what I'm saying? A lot of them island boys, yeah, got crazy little who's who. And so yeah, we blessed, man. But as you were saying, back to this Jeff Jarrett situation, right?
Yeah, I love how like it looks like the gears might be turning in Jeff Jarrett's head as he's listening.
Yeah.
Like maybe he's gonna give us a reason to boot. And I was on the edge of my seat because MJF was like, I just want to help you. And and he's slimy, but he's still just offering this very tempting thing. And what does Jeff Jarrett do? Continue to surprise us all and either keep that heel turn another few inches away or just commit to the face. Like MJF drops that bomb, right? Where he says the clock is ticking, and then he clarifies, I know what kind of contract you signed. You only have a year.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you put in that sense of urgency on there, right? That adds to the tempting pot.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, very convincing. The dude is very, very convincing to anybody that is only out for self. And Jeff takes the high road, says, I know, basically, I know better than to deal with somebody like you.
Mm-hmm.
And then he nails MJF's character by calling him an entitled prick.
Yep.
And because essentially, like, his whole thing about, like, that's my title, I'm going to get it eventually, that's entitlement.
Yep.
Like, he's not talking about earning it. He's just like, I already have it, so it already belongs to me.
Yeah.
That level of narcissism is awesome in a heel.
Yeah.
And looking at that, I'm like, man, he's got to be the best singles, just no group, just him, to my knowledge. Pure heel they got right now.
There's no doubt about that.
There's
no doubt about that. I think the only person that can really come close to that and say that they in that echelon is Christian Cage.
Yeah.
Like because he's a
but in particular, like because Christian has a group. That just meant like as far as somebody who's
just by
operating
himself.
By himself,
yeah.
I'm like he is.
But he's
God.
used other people, and that's why I say he's used other people and had groups before. But that's the thing about MJF. No matter what, he's a sly, manipulative bastard, right? And
he strikes me as somebody that'll turn on the people he's got working for him.
Facts.
God,
loved it.
Brilliant heel work.
Great stuff. And that's why I was like, okay, let's see. I did never think that I would be interested in the Jeff Jarrett angle like this in 2025, but I am. And that says something about what they're doing. So good on them, good on Jeff, good on MJF. Let's see where it goes. Some people would think, oh, you would put MJF into a match with somebody else or anybody else or whatever. Now, this actually works because Jeff is the feel-good story, right? And some way, somehow, I got a feeling Max is going to try to get in the way and usurp it.
Yep.
So it's going to be interesting. All right. And
where's Max from, by the way? I was trying to place his accent.
Long Island.
I figured it was East Coast, but
Long Island. And we didn't rate that match, the casino.
Man, there was a lot going on, and honestly, I'm gonna preface this again. This is the first time I'm pretty sure they've done this kind of match in the past, but this is the first time I've ever seen this particular kind of match.
Right.
So, I just look. I don't want to feel like I'm just handing out five. 4.8, easy.
You say you're gonna give it a yeah, okay.
4.8. There are
I
a lot of moving parts in that match. It
mhm,
looks like it's very difficult to pull off, and
mhm,
they did it.
mhm.
You know what I mean? Um, yeah.
I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I liked it a whole
I
lot.
thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm gonna go 4.5. So the reason I'm gonna go 4.5 is because there was a lot of star power. There were a lot of
Hmm.
stories intertwined and a lot of stories being told. It wasn't just like you go out there and wrestle, which they could have did.
Yeah.
But no, there were a lot of intertwining stories. Even the Ricochet thing with whose house?
Oh, yeah.
Swerve's house, and they go,
Brilliant. You thought Swerve was
you feel
coming
me?
out, and nope.
And I loved it.
And keeping Swerve off of TV after an
Loved
attack
it.
like that,
Loved
so
it.
good.
Loved it.
So
Loved
good.
it. Loved it. Loved it. And it just enhances Ricochet's character. And there were just so many good pieces to this. And to have Hobbs win it, and keep raising his star. And I'm gonna talk about him
Hmm.
after the Cope segment. But fantastic. Fantastic. So I'll give that 4.5. So
Yep.
then let's jump into that, right? Cope comes out and he's addressing John Moxley. I believe
Hmm.
that's the next thing. Yes, he is.
Yep.
So I enjoyed the whole segment. So let's go through it. Basically, Cope is talking about how Moxley is he's the guy,
Yep.
but you've committed all these transgressions. You've done things to Darby, you've done things to Bryan Danielson, but the worst thing you could have did was done it to FTR, which is kind of like, nah,
Those are his friends.
yeah,
You
I
know.
feel it, but then it's like, nah, he kind of did. The worst thing he did was Danielson for sure.
Right.
But
Well,
sure.
he said in his book because
No, I feel it.
they're
I
his
feel it.
allies.
But I
Yeah.
was like,
He's
nah,
like, you
nigga.
have crossed my path. Now I gotta come for you
Yeah, I
because
was
these are
like, bro, you.
my
I was like,
homies.
Darby was your friend too, but he did say Darby was his friend.
Yeah.
But I liked the whole explaining of why this is going on.
That was the straw that broke the camel's
That
back
was the
because you
straw that
came
broke the
and messed
camel's
with
back.
us.
Yeah,
I was
and
minding my own business because you came after us.
exactly. And
And it ain't even just what I like is that of all of the other people who are coming after Moxley
mhm,
just for the title alone,
mhm.
Edge has got this moral crucible
We
to
don't
bear.
call him Edge no more.
Sorry, Cope. Cope, my
You
bad.
can even call him Adam.
My bad.
We
Yes,
don't do the Edge shit.
I'm sorry.
When we review on Raw, we can call him Edge.
Fair
They're gonna
enough.
get in our ass about that. I'm
You're
telling
right. You're right.
you. Yeah.
Please, listeners and viewers, forgive me. Old habits die hard. You know, but Cope,
You feel me?
has got this moral cross to bear. So it's more than just the title. It's you have done all of this bullshit and somebody got to take you down a peg,
Facts.
you know?
Facts.
And I really like the idea that everybody coming after Moxley has a slightly different reason for it. Like Hobbs is
There's
like, I'm
always a
going to
reason.
dominate you.
Yeah.
And Cope is like, you have made these massive transitions. And then MJF is like, I just want my belt back. Give
And
me my belt back.
even a guy like Jay is even Jay White. I'm the king. You're not the king. There's so many. Hangman, he just wants his shit back too. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
there are so many. And Darby Harden. If you were to say who's the, do I call him the heart and soul of AEW? He's an interesting cat, man. Moxley is the ace. I would say Darby's the heart and soul
Okay.
because Darby will do anything,
For the
anything
success of
for the
AEW.
success of AEW. I would say he's the heart and soul. But you're right. There's so many intertwining themes, and everybody has a reason. The world title scene is actually really stacked. And then you got Christian Cage in the cuts with the damn
Right.
contract. So no,
Waiting for his moment,
it's
huh?
a stacked situation. It really is. Um, but for Cope, I really liked how he brought up his previous injuries, his previous struggles. These are things, my neck, I broke my neck. I got up from that. Even in the match, I got up from that and still won that match. I broke my leg. I got up, still won that
Now
match.
I didn't see that match, but
Uh,
I'm trying to picture in my head how damaged, how broke when we say broken, are we talking hairline fracture or like
I've seen a
How
couple of
bad
these.
was it?
I've seen a couple of these wrestlers finish matches with broken necks, so it's maybe a
Well,
hairline.
the neck, I believe,
Yeah,
because like, you know, if you get a hairline, you can finish a match. But the leg, like, I know it wasn't as broken as like my leg when I got hit by that car. It
right.
could be in the fibula that my shit was dangling.
Yeah.
That's on some Sid Vicious shit. You know what I mean? No, my leg was
No, I
literally
feel you.
hanging
I feel you.
by a
But you
thread.
brought that back. I was like,
And
ooh,
thankfully, there
yeah,
was no blood. You feel me? It was just, but still, it was wobbling. So
facts.
I'm like, it must have been like some kind of hairline fracture to where he could still stand on it.
Hmm.
And the adrenaline was able to like push him through, to a level to where like it really hurt, but he didn't know how bad it was till he got out.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah. Nah, for real, bro. Like it's it was it was a great little promo he did. And he was basically saying, I've gone through all these things and I still got up and I still won. What can you do to me that's gonna make me stay down for, what I'm saying, those 3 seconds? What's gonna keep me down?
And then the music hit.
And then the music hits,
It's
and then
like,
he pretty much demonstrates what he's gonna do
right.
to pretty much keep you
Like,
down.
and because this is only the second Dynamite I've ever seen. I was unaware of how many people John Moxley had in
He
his
has a
group.
crew.
And I was wondering, like, because I did note just like the commentators, like before the commentators said anything, I was like, he's
Claudio,
these three people coming out,
Wheeler.
and and I recognize
And he's
Wheeler
still
and Claudio
looking
from,
behind them, right?
the previous episodes. So I'm
Yeah,
like, you obviously think that something else is gonna happen
yeah,
here,
yeah.
or someone else is gonna come out. Who else you got? Who else are you worried about? Does John Moxley just recruit people all the time? So you're like, could be anyone come out
Nah,
of the
you got
cuts,
Pac and Marina
you know.
Shafir, man. That's a formidable duo. But we'll cover it. FTR attacks the Death Riders before
I
they even
was
got to the
cheering. I
ring.
was like, yeah, even the odds. There we go.
That's the thing. That's the thing.
And
And
then when, you know, when Copeland can't move his leg, I'm like, oh, this is what you was worried about.
yeah. Yeah,
You
and
know,
and the thing about it is the jump in and all that. They did a number on Cope. They did a number on FTR. Death Riders look pretty damn dominant. Look like they're about to take them
hmm
out. And then all of a sudden, this one big black Jack brother come out from the bay and stare everybody down. He just put the straps down. That's all he did was pull the
Yep.
straps down.
It clears the ring.
Cleared the ring. That says everything you need to know. That says everything you need to
Moxley got
know.
the message. If
They
he didn't
don't,
before, he got it now. I
yeah,
love
they
that.
don't want the smoke. They don't want the smoke. And it's interesting. And it gives Hobbs another aura of dominance. Which is what I want to talk about. Which is what I want to talk about.
Hmm.
Okay. Whew. You know, you know, next week,
Mm-hmm.
Hobbs, Moxley, world title.
Mm-hmm.
I don't expect Hobbs to win. Now, here's the thing. Again, though.
If he loses, it ain't gonna be clean.
No, it's not. But here's the thing, though. The situation is so believable that he could beat Moxley
Right?
that it's like, but what if he did, though? And that was the same thing we were talking about with a Jeff Jarrett. And that's why I'm looking at AEW right now. It's like, okay, I like this formula because now we have some guys that's like, okay, I don't necessarily think he might win, but shit, he could win.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
And
Like he could win.
that's good wrestling right there.
That's good
That's
wrestling.
good
And I
wrestling.
could see Hobbs because he has this momentum. He has this aura about him. Um, if he does, if they pulled the trigger next week, I wouldn't be mad.
Same.
It would be amazing. That would be amazing elevation for somebody. And it would be interesting to see where the story goes, right? But if he doesn't win,
My only request would be like if Hobbs loses,
mhm,
don't let it be clean.
I will
Because
say
if it's a
that.
clean loss, that just takes the steam right out of. But if the victory is snatched from his from the jaws of his winning
Mhm,
because he got hit by a chair and the referee wasn't looking,
mhm.
that saves him from have being deflated.
This ties into my question.
Mm.
If he does lose to the numbers game, right?
Yeah.
Do we see Hobbs get that business card? Do we
Oh,
see? Do we see Hobbs even the odds with that business card? Is that how we get Hurt Syndicate
yeah.
involved in this situation?
Yeah. You know
Is that
what?
you feel me? Because I could see Hobbs has been on a tear
Yes.
by himself,
Yes.
dolo. And if they keep pushing him like that, cool, because it's believable.
For sure.
But if you put him with the syndicate,
It's tempting. It's
because
tempting to consider.
but
It really,
who else is
because
more
right
believable?
now the Hurt Syndicate is going after the tag belts.
Uh-huh.
Neither Shelton Topanga is not going after like a secondary title,
Mm-hmm.
or nor the world. And
Mm-hmm.
same thing with Lashley.
Right now.
How right now,
Right.
who better to bring into your stable if the hottest, most feared stable, or the most feared stable, I should say, most respected stable
Mm-hmm.
in the company right now is the Hurt Syndicate.
Mm-hmm.
What better addition could you make than someone who could potentially be in the world title as a single competitor after that stable has declared that they're going after tag gold?
And I think
Hobbs.
and I think the logic writes itself because I feel like even if you lose, he's been tearing everybody apart by himself. He's the definition of we hurt people, right? And the thing about it with Hobbs is that I feel like they could go the route of we've been watching you.
Mm-hmm.
We've been had our eye on you.
Yep.
It takes multiple people to deal with you. You need backup.
Yep. Because these groups are going to try you.
You need backup.
Yep.
And that's all you gotta do. And so that's why I say it's gonna be important not only how this match plays out next week, but the follow-up.
Yep.
The follow-up is everything. What I don't want is I don't want him to lose this match next week and tread water going forward. Do something with him.
Yep.
And I think either the story of him joining the syndicate or the story of the syndicate trying to recruit him and he don't want it.
Either way would be great.
Because then we can get a Hobbs versus Shelton and a Hobbs versus Lashley.
Can you imagine?
Could you imagine Hobbs versus Lashley?
Yes. Honestly, him feuding with the Hurt Syndicate as a collective would be equally as interesting as them working together.
I feel like their paths have to cross sooner than later.
Mm-hmm. With
Right?
the trajectory they're going on.
With the trajectory they're going. And you know what? See, here we go. If we did do a private party versus Hurt Syndicate tag title match, a beef with Hobbs would justify a victory for private party
You're right.
to extend their tag title reign and then further a Hobbs Syndicate Hobbs Lashley match. That's what I'm like. There's a lot of possibilities here. And I'm not saying he has to automatically join them or anything, but I just think
them working the same card or the same long-term story, whether
money.
they're feuding or whether they're together, is money.
It's money.
There's a correlation here.
Yeah. And so whatever they do after this Mox thing, whether he wins or loses, he just cannot tread. Because you have a star here. Hobbs is a star. And then just the way you push him for the next 6 to 7 months are going to be everything. Everything.
You'll get no argument from me.
So
you're talking sense.
Yeah. So I think I'll go with Hobbs losing to Mox. But if he wins it, I wouldn't be surprised. But there's so much that could come out of it if he loses too.
If he flat out wins it, that pretty much clinches the Jay Jarrett storyline, the Jeff Jarrett storyline.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we know Jeff's gonna lose.
Yeah. Yeah, he don't got no chance.
You know?
Like, but so that's what I'm saying. It's interesting. So I think Mox will win it, but what comes out of it is going to be the most important thing.
Agreed.
Okay. Okay. So then they go to commercial. Mariah May, AEW Women's World Champion, the
Another
beautiful,
solid heel.
yeah, the beautiful Mariah May, beautiful, crazy Mariah May. Um, she's just talking about how she's running the division, how she's, what I mean, beating everybody. Y'all gotta chase me now. And I'm gonna be watching to see who steps up. In comes in comes Harley Cameron. And she's just, the thing about Harley Cameron, and let's talk about the promo first. She just basically challenges her to a match.
Hmm.
Um, and Mariah's just like, you don't deserve a world title match. We're not doing that. And Harley's like, okay, then let's just do hot girl graps. And I was like, first off, that's money.
Yep.
That title is money. But I'm actually interested. And the funny thing is, Harley Cameron, I think she's just a solid comedic character.
Yeah.
The
I can
last couple
tell.
times I've seen her, she's really been funny.
Oh yeah.
And I like that. I've seen a couple of her matches when she first got around. Wasn't really impressed. After the last few months though, she's been doing really good. She's been making a really good account for herself. So she's got this package going on that's like, okay, I'm interested in the match. Hot girl graps, count me in. What comes out of that afterwards? Let's get her a credible challenger.
Now, wouldn't that be interesting if Hot Girl Graps, which seems to be her sort of a friendly challenge, more or
Hmm.
less,
Hmm.
turns into an obsession for the title itself?
I think that, yeah,
And a full-on feud. It went from being we were playing in the beginning, but the mood all changed, and
yeah,
that would be interesting.
it's gonna be interesting because I'm looking at it's gonna tie into this next thing. Who is the next challenger for Mariah May? Because it's gotta be somebody credible. She just beat Thunder Rosa at World's End. Great Tijuana street fight.
Mhm.
And we gotta find some credible challengers because it's obvious that we're gonna get Tony and Mariah at some point.
Yeah, you're right.
But where are we going until we get there? Which is what we're about to answer right now. Because the next match was Chris Statlander
Hmm.
versus Willow Nightingale versus the up and coming rookie Tony Storm. And let me tell you something about Tony Storm. I have never seen Tony before. Okay. And as a rookie, as somebody who's never accomplished anything in his business, as somebody who's never, I'm impressed. She's never been in WWE. She's never been in NXT. She's never been in anything. She's never won the AEW championship 3 times. She's never done that.
How long has she been in AEW?
She's never been in
Okay,
AEW.
this is her debut match.
This is apparently. Do
God.
you know the storyline?
Uh, all right. Tony is the
You remember?
amnesia,
Yes.
suffering from amnesia.
Yes. And so right now she doesn't remember her whole career. So now she is a rookie starting over in AEW.
Okay.
And so everybody that she comes across now, she's like, "Oh my God, it's a pleasure to meet you. I've never met you before. This is amazing."
What was she
The
like
most
before this? I'm really
timeless
curious.
Tony Storm, where she was doing the old school 19s, 20s vignette where she was an actress. And that's why I think this plays into
Hmm.
because Mariah May turned on her because Mariah May was basically her understudy in the storyline. Tony basically raised her, and did all that.
I'm ready
And
for
then
my
Mariah,
close up, Mr. DeVille.
yeah, and then exactly. And then Mariah destroyed her with beat the dog shit out of her with the heel, bro. On
Oh,
national television where she was gushing. I'm gonna show you that. One of the best women's storylines maybe ever. I'm talking, hey, this is one of those things where AEW, you can't say they didn't do one of the all-time great things. Mariah May beats Tony Storm. Tony Storm, you could tell when Mariah May beat her for the title, you could tell that something snapped in Tony. And then she disappears for some months and comes back as a rookie, like she's never wrestled before, like she's never wrestled
Because of the head trauma.
the head trauma,
She's forgotten
everything.
it all.
She's
Okay.
like, so now she's forgotten everything. So
So I knew they were going with amnesia, but I didn't know anything about her
yeah,
before.
this
So
is an amazing storyline.
that sounds so dope.
This is an amazing story. I forgot what the old school movie this was based on was about. Was called
Sounds like Sunset Drive.
one. It was either that one or it's All About Something.
Hmm.
I forgot what it was like. All About
All About
Jane.
Eve.
All About Eve. That's it. All About Eve. So you remember she had a
Hmm.
friend. She helped. You know what I'm saying? And then she killed it. Took her place. All that's what we're talking about.
Oh, shit.
Okay, so Mariah May is the usurper. All right. So Tony in these last couple of matches, she's won some her first couple matches, which she won like not with like her Storm Zero or anything. She just won like small packages and just things like that.
Right, because
So
she's a rookie.
because she's
So
a
she doesn't
rookie.
have
She's
a
up and coming.
yeah.
She's never wrestled in AEW.
To
All right.
her knowledge,
To her
anyway.
knowledge. So this match for her, this is the biggest match of her career. This is the biggest opportunity she's ever
This is a
gotten.
brilliant story.
This is amazing. So, Chris Statlander, Willow Nightingale, we know they have history. Chris and Willow, they were best friends. Chris turned on her. She recognized the error of her ways later, but you know, things aren't easily forgiven
Right.
or forgotten.
Yeah, I really liked the interplay that those former partners had.
Mm-hmm.
Chris is the white woman, right?
Yes.
Okay. Like
Or as I call her, Chris Cakelander.
there are
Mhm.
moments where it looks like she's going to clothesline her old friend, and then she's like, "Should I?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There were moments where they were working together, and like the tragedy of a lost friendship is a compelling story.
It is. It is.
And the idea that both parties aren't necessarily like they clearly are not like we hate each other,
Yeah.
but they're also not sure how to be around each other. And so there's that potential that they might make up,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But there's that tension of they might not.
Yeah.
Like, are we gonna go into full feud mode, or are we gonna like we don't know? And I think that's really cool long-term
It's a
storytelling.
brilliant storyline. I um I really like the whole interplay of everything and just how like Tony was the underdog the whole time, even though she has like more titles than everybody in that whole match. But
And if this is your
she's
first
a
time
fucking
watching
rookie.
through, you wouldn't know.
But she's a rookie, okay? And she made her little rookie mistakes. She made little, and she didn't get to win. You know, the thing about it is Chris Statlander winning was actually a cool call. Um,
The
she. Hmm?
the triple German suplex.
That was
That was
that
nice
was
work.
badass. There were a lot of good spots here.
Yeah.
There were a lot of good spots. Everybody got their stuff in. I really enjoy Willow. I really feel like at some point she needs a lengthy title reign. She was TBS champion for a second, but it was for a second. I felt it was more of like a shorter reign to get it to Mercedes. But they have history, and Willow's won like the CMLL title in Mexico and all that, like
Hmm.
over,
I'm not shocked.
yeah, she's great.
Yeah,
She's tremendous.
she's amazing.
And so, and I love her vibe, right? Like the whole vibe she has, the happy-go-lucky thing.
Yeah,
She has the
it's
crowd in a good mood.
yeah, it's very like it's very like you like not quite a cheerleader, but like you get the idea that like if she went to a high school with a pep squad,
Mhm.
which is
She would
kind of
fit
like
in.
cheerleading, she would be the captain,
Yeah, she would be the captain.
you know.
And just the intertwining the things that in the interactions, like you said, between the three women. Chris Statlander winning was really good though. And she'll be a formidable number one entrant into the casino gauntlet for the women next week. Um, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting because the winner gets Mariah May in Australia at Grand Slam. So Tony is from Australia, so I'm thinking she might wind up still with that win,
Mhm.
and that this was a nice little swerve in between to kind of throw you off the trail. But at the same time, I'm not surprised Tony didn't win because a rookie isn't supposed to win that kind of match.
Exactly.
And she was a rookie. Okay, and she is a rookie,
Yes.
and she's gonna, she's gonna be a rookie until next year, and then she'll be a sophomore. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like, great. I really enjoyed this match.
I did too, man. I really did. I like the aftermath of the
Yeah,
match where she's just like, it can't be Tony time every time,
yeah.
and how like
That's some great attitude for a
sad.
young up and coming rookie.
I appreciate how sad she looked and disappointed she was that she didn't win, and
Right. But she knew.
she also gave props to the other folks, and like I said, I've never seen how she was before she lost the memory, so I'm just like, but I was very that that was a nice character bit.
She is the shining example of what a rookie in wrestling should be. Okay, if you want to know how to take a loss as a rookie, you follow Tony. All right, because in her rookie year, that kid's going somewhere. That kid's going somewhere. All right, I'm
For
just
sure.
she's going somewhere. I don't know where it is. She's going somewhere. All right. All right. So yeah. What do you rate? What's your rating?
Man, another high four.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I'm giving that like the storytelling, the execution of the moves, like you know what I mean? The pacing of the match. Like triple threats are always hard to pull off. And just the fact that they pulled this off
Mhm.
without there wasn't a whole lot of time where you had a situation where there was no time where there was a situation where there was two people up grappling each other and then a third person just standing and waiting.
Facts.
And that's a really hard thing to do because you
Facts.
have to like work with each other time. Everything was perfectly timed. This is a 4.8.
Okay.
It's a 4.8.
Um, this was a really good women's match. Not even just a women's match. Just a really good
Good
match in
match.
general. Um, I'm gonna give it another 4.5. If they would have had another like 5 minutes and took it to another gear, it would have been a five in ring for me. But there wasn't anything wrong with the match. There's nothing I can complain about. Um, I am interested to seeing where the division goes. There's a few credible challengers. Um, I would enjoy a Statlander Mariah May situation. I think we're going Tony and Mariah though. I think that's what makes sense,
Hmm.
right? I think that's what makes sense. So 4.5.
Yeah.
4.5. All right. So then, after we're done with that, we're getting the long-awaited return of Kenny Omega.
One of the foundational members of AEW,
And one of
which is something that I knew going
Mhm,
in,
mhm.
and something the commentators were wise to bring up for anyone who didn't know.
The thing about Omega,
I love Omega. I think he's
one of the greatest
one of the
wrestlers I
greatest
think
of
ever,
ever.
ever,
You know,
period. Like in ring, ever. One of them, like straight up. His
just
his his resume just speaks for itself. There are very few people that I'm willing to say that about, but his resume absolutely
he's the
justifies that.
only wrestler in history that I could think of where I can watch any match and of his walk away going, that was incredible. And it doesn't matter what he does.
Mhm.
Like nothing that he has ever done that might other people might have considered silly or goofy could ever make me go, you know what? That like just to give some folks some highlights that may not know anything about Kenny, the man wrestled, if I recall, was it an 8-year-old girl?
I remember
And
that.
that was awesome. He wrestled a doll, I think, like a blow-up doll too. That was also awesome. I don't know what he was on at the time, but fuck,
That shit
dude
was
could make
funny as
that look
fuck.
credible as fuck.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was very entertaining to watch, and I wasn't mad at all. And that said, like the more serious matches that he's had over the years, every one of them, like, which is why, like when I tuned in and they said he was going to be there, I didn't think about it at first. And then it wasn't until I got maybe halfway through the show and I realized, oh wait, he's not going to be there for a match. He's going to be there in an appearance. He's going to talk, especially when he came out and Dawn of his like, oh, he's going to give a promo. And at first, because keep in mind, I haven't been watching AEW on a regular basis, so I didn't know. My first reaction was disappointment. Oh man, I wanted to see him wrestle. I haven't seen him wrestle in
Yeah, but once you
forever.
don't know, you don't know.
But but then when he started talking, and the commentators mentioned that he had been away and suffering from a rare disease. And like, when he started talking about his rehab, his experience, I immediately was like, I'm in.
Yeah,
I'm invested.
no, straight up.
Because, it's like that empathy kicked in and like how could it not? Like the man almost died. And then he talked about how much he loved the business. And you get the sense that he was halfway, he was shooting. He was shooting. And it was a beautiful shoot,
Yeah, no,
you know?
I seen a lot of the struggles that he was going through as far as like um I knew about the diverticulitis and all that type of stuff. And then if you're familiar with Brock Lesnar, then you kind of remember how
Mm.
he was going through it too.
Yep.
Um with Kenny, I kind of identify because I know how a rare disease can kind of take you off the map for like a couple years and you have to get yourself back to where you need to get to. So
Mhm.
I automatically understood and identified. Um
It
but
feels like what was it 2023 when he left?
yeah.
Okay. Feels like just yesterday him and the Young Bucks were fighting with CM Punk backstage,
Yeah.
but
It is what it is, though.
yeah,
But I'm glad that he's back. He's an integral part of AEW. He's needed. You can kind of tell how important he feels
absolutely.
on the show. I love the fact that his and it's a cool little like Easter egg. His new theme song is actually made and personally composed by the same composer who makes all the music for Final Fantasy. So
Nice.
that's why the epicness was there, and I had to kind of like get the confirmation, and a few people confirmed it that that's the same guy who does all the stuff for Final Fantasy.
So
I was like, that is so cool.
he reached out to that composer and said, "Can you make that's so dope."
And the funny thing is crazy that that person might just be a Stone Cold wrestling fan too. So
Heck
you know
yeah,
what I
I
mean?
would bet my bottom dollar that dude has seen every in New Japan
Mm,
wrestling
mm.
show that has existed during his
I wouldn't doubt
like
it.
a good chunk of his lifetime.
Yeah, because that's a national sport out there.
You feel me?
You know, the crazy thing about it is just him talking about the challenges and him doing the comeback and all that, and just seeing the crowd get behind him. Kenny, like I said, is a special guy, especially in AEW. He's needed.
Yeah.
He's needed. Um, so afterwards, you see Don Callis.
And doesn't even what I love is that Don Callis comes out right after Kenny Omega says no vengeance,
Yeah, yeah.
right? And then just to give us the idea that this is such an extreme situation that
Yeah.
even his no New Year, New Me, no vengeance policy gets dropped
It don't even hold water.
when it comes to Don Callis.
Yeah.
Like that is the exception to this
Don
rule.
Callis is
Don Callis doesn't even get a chance to do a villain's monologue. That dude
nah.
just says, "Look who came back from the dead." Whoa, on him, whooping his ass. Just no. I was like, oh,
Yeah, no,
Cyrus
that's
can
funny.
get it. This
Yeah.
beef, the true definition of on site. Like, didn't let the man finish. Didn't even hear what he had to say. I was like, okay, obviously, he has wronged you in the past.
Yeah. And that's the
I don't
crazy
know what
part.
he did, but Jesus Christ, like,
Yeah, no, so they got deep history, bro. Like especially
like
like AEW,
e-
they got a lot of history.
even when Brock and Paul were on the house, at least Brock had let Paul talk a bit before going off.
Nah, he got thrown off of his ass. It
He
wasn't
didn't
none of
even
that.
listen.
It wasn't none of that. No, I enjoyed it though. And then Brian Cage, Lance Archer jump on Kenny. You know, they get the jump on him,
Mm-hmm.
get the
Haul him
beat
out to
on
the
him.
ring, beat the like.
Kyle Fletcher come in. You know, he gets a couple blows on him too. It's
Mm-hmm.
looking like Kenny's gonna go down. I remember Brian Cage, bam, right in the stomach where you got that diverticulitis,
And I
right?
was thinking, I was like, Young Bucks gonna come out?
Nope. That
All
ain't what
Elite?
happened.
You
Nope.
know?
It was Will Ospreay, and I was like, oh God. Are y'all gonna do Ospreay Omega pretty soon? Because I know we're probably getting the tag match between Omega and Osprey versus Cage and Archer based on this, right? And they
Mhm.
have common enemies in the Don Callis family. But are we gonna get Omega and Osprey at some point? Like soon?
Maybe.
I would love it. I would love it. That would be amazing. Like that's what I'm saying about AEW, bro. Like there are multiple situations where like crazy matches can really happen, right? And I think 2025 for AEW is going to be a really special year. We know like 2024, 2025, I feel like is a really special year for like WWE and like just wrestling in general.
Hmm.
But I think AEW can really in 2025 really just declare themselves what they are. And I really pinpoint and perfect their version of pro wrestling product and become the real true 100% long-standing alternate to WWE that's sustainable.
Yes.
And I like with their deal with Max and all these other things, they're setting the foundations. Like I feel like we're gonna be talking AEW a decade from now
Yes,
and
we
all
are.
these other things.
You
So
know, you know what I look at it as it's like it reminds me of with the way that they pay attention to the in-ring product.
mhm,
It reminds me of the best that WCW had to offer as far as being that sports-driven alternative.
yeah,
But they have learned the lessons of the past
yeah,
and WCW's failings. What I do see is, yeah, they've got some former WWE guys moved over to AEW, but the way that they're using them is
yeah,
so fresh and so cool. They're not just letting them go up and have long-standing ego rants and remember wins, and it's not just based on like nostalgia.
yeah,
And also for wrestlers who are actually like a Jeff Jarrett who might actually be thinking about retiring, rather than allow him to continue to like waste away and do. I don't see them doing like they did with old Chainsaw Charlie, you know,
Shout out
Terry
to
Funk.
Terry Funk, man.
50 bajillion retirement matches until like people are just all right, we heard it again. Just either
Nah,
get, like they're not gonna do that. I think
nah.
they're gonna have Jeff retire respectfully
On
from,
one of the highest stages possible.
exactly. And they know clearly Tony Khan isn't just a fan like Dixie Carter was a fan, because
No, he's a
Dixie
wrestling
Dick
savant.
Dixie Carter was what happens when you have a fan that is only fueled by nostalgia itself run a wrestling
Yeah,
company.
but this kid,
Whereas Tony Khan
mhm.
is a fan who loves wrestling, but also knows and understands how to book a wrestling show. And those are two different things.
Those are two different things.
Those are two different things.
Absolutely. And that's why I kind of feel like, right now with the last couple of weeks of what AEW's been presented, I'm really thoroughly happy with the product. Is it absolutely perfect? No, but no product is. I still have little gripes that I had about Monday Night Raw too,
Mm,
but it's okay. Um, Everything like the main thing is right now, pro wrestling is higher than it's ever been.
yep.
Um, like I don't think it's ever been this hot besides the Attitude Era. It might be on the potential cusp of absolutely squashing the Attitude Era. Just based on you gotta think about it.
Yeah.
Just based on where Netflix and where like that streaming reaches to and how many people can watch it at the same time now. Same thing with Max. Same thing with and how available it is just at the click of a button to real you can like people are really starting to get behind superstars like their favorite teams
And
or their
isn't it
favorite athlete.
also wonderful now that like, you know, I think it's poetic
Mhm.
that AEW's home is on WCW's old home.
Yeah, don't
Ted
tell that.
Turner got to be over there like,
Don't tell that to Bischoff though. Don't tell that to Bischoff. He'll
okay,
fucking bite your head off. But like straight up. But nah, so what do you grade the show?
man. Overall, I give the show a 4.7. Very high on my ranking list. And like I said, it could be just that like newness of like, look at this shiny new thing,
But that's a beautiful perspective.
you know,
Yeah, that's a beautiful perspective.
and I'm approaching it as a wrestling fan that has not seen very much of this product but heard about and is familiar with some of the wrestlers. I'm familiar with the Bullet Club history to a degree.
Right,
I've seen some of the matches.
right.
Like, but I'm so out of it. I'm like, I don't even know if Bullet Club is still a thing. But like, you
It's
know,
different offshoots. They are
yeah.
though. Yeah.
Clearly AEW, it looks like to me like AEW doesn't really have a Bullet Club. They just have former Bullet Club members.
So
Yeah.
they have Jay White. They have a variation of it. So it was once called Bullet Club Gold, right? When Jay White first got there.
Hmm.
It's him, Billy Gunn's sons, and Juice Robinson.
Oh, okay.
And so then they just changed their name to the Bang Bang Gang, but it's just an offshoot of Bullet Club,
Okay.
basically. Um, yeah, but yeah, they still exist in New Japan and all that. But AEW is just the bigger company right this second. So and then I believe Juice and the Guns got injured, so that's why you don't see him right now.
Ah, okay.
But yeah, let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and give it the whole show because I've been consistent with it with the score. I'm gonna give the show a 4.5.
4.5.
All right, so like I'm gonna give the show a 4.5. So only because I think the only straight out Stone Cold 5 I gave was the Osprey Buddy
Mm,
Matthews match. So I just gotta keep it consistent throughout the
that's
board.
fair.
But I think that if you're gonna keep giving like quality like shows like this, I have no complaints. I have no complaints. Keep it coming. Keep telling stories. Keep having these banger matches. Give us like great intriguing matchups that actually make us want to watch and sit there and dive in and invest those 2 hours. You'll hear no complaints from me paying for this max subscription. You feel what I'm saying? To cover this like when I cover it because I hate cable. Like I just feel like it's just a waste of channels and money. You feel what I'm saying? But to like the same thing I said with Raw. Like I don't mind having those two things, you know what I'm saying? And now that Max bundled up with like Hulu and all that shit, this is
It's
cheap.
the win.
This easy. So like it's like okay, I don't mind tuning into this every week and covering this every week. Don't change the formula. Great matches, some of the best matches in wrestling, period, right? Intriguing matchups, and sprinkle the story in to keep us going.
Yep.
WWE is different because they're story based and you're going to get what you get out of the matches. Sometimes they're fantastic, sometimes they're just
Yeah.
but I feel like a AEW, you're going to get really good wrestling. So,
That's a given.
yeah. So all I need is the story sprinkled in.
Hmm.
Just a little bit. I don't need you to be WWE. Just give me a reason to care about the things that aren't just matches. Like if you're having a match and it's just a match, cool. I'll enjoy that for what it is, right? But everything can't be that. I have to care about the world title.
Yep.
I have to care about why these guys won it and who these guys are and what intertwining threads and all. And they're starting to do that. That was a lot of people's main gripes last year,
Yeah.
which honestly, to tell you the truth, it was just a lot of people that saw the Cody Rhodes storyline play out in WWE, and they were just story, 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 story all the time
Yeah.
after that. So I'm not saying that it's a bad trend to have, but I'm just saying that was the trend, and that's what started it. But I think AEW is finding their niche. I think they're finding their place in this whole thing. You do not have to copy WWE. If anything, do the opposite.
For reals.
And like I said, just keep the story sprinkled in, right? We have 5, 6 guys going after the world title. We have a few guys out there like Daniel Garcia. He competed in the Casino Gauntlet, but he's the TNT champ. Let's put him in something that means something next. Let's make me care about the TNT title. Konosuke Takeshita, he just won the never open weight title in Japan, so now he's the AEW International and never open weight champion. He should be going on a tear when next time I see Takeshita.
That would be the one thing that I would say that I would want more of too is like I've always been a big fan
Hmm.
of the quote unquote secondary belts and the idea of divisions, right?
Hmm.
Like the world title's great. The world title's great,
Hmm.
but I've also adored like the concept of the television title, the US belt. You know what I mean? And some of
Yeah,
my favorite
yeah,
wrestlers, were Intercontinental Champion first, US champion first. And I really love the system they have in Japan where like a lot of the feds have like belts based on weight
yeah,
like it
yeah.
like a UFC fighter. So anytime a company puts in a lot of effort into their other belts,
Mhm.
I feel like it legitimizes the company
Yeah, I agree.
and it legitimizes those belts and those wrestlers. Because if everybody is just using the belt as a stepping stone to get to the world belt, what do you have those belts anyway for? If
That's
they're
true.
not, credible.
That's why I say this is they're in a good position. They're in a good situation right now. They have a
Yeah.
crazy roster. They have a crazy roster. And it's just who you use, what you use them for. Like tonight we didn't get Mercedes, but she just came back from Japan. So this week, cool. But either Collision or next week on Dynamite, she need to be there.
Yep.
Like, you know what I'm saying? We need to be starting to push things forward for her next challengers and whatever's going on next. Same thing with Mariah.
Mm.
After this, we'll know about Mariah
Mm-hmm.
after the Casino Gauntlet. We'll know who's her contender, which I'm expecting to be Tony,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now, like, now we got this thing with Tony. Who's Mercedes' next person? We need somebody credible.
Question.
Yes,
Where are the Von Erichs these days?
they do stuff in ROH.
Okay, okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay. I don't know why I was thinking they were AEW.
Now ROH is AEW subsidiary now.
Mm-hmm.
Tony Khan bought a
Yeah.
ROH. So they're I think six ROH six-man tag champs with Dustin
Mm.
Rhodes,
Okay.
which is cool.
Yeah, that is pretty
That's
cool.
pretty cool. So yeah, I think that this was a very, very good show. Dynamite got two in a row. Like I said, I consider the premiere on Max to be like a season premiere.
Mm-hmm.
And since the season premiere, they've been
This
kicking some
episode
ass.
two, man, two in a row.
Yeah, they've been kicking some
I'm
ass.
looking forward to episode three.
I will say I watched Collision over Saturday. There was a reason I didn't cover it because there wasn't really nothing to write home about.
Mm.
But Dynamite is killing it. Now I need that energy on Collision. I need some kind of energy and effort made on the storylines on Collision. But beyond that, great stuff. AEW keep up the work. Let's take this to the finish line with Cope and Mox. I'm interested in the match. Next week you got Mox versus Will Hobbs. Let's make sure that no matter what happens with Hobbs after this match, he is good. You know what I mean? Let's make sure that we have some things going on for Private Party. Let's make sure Swerve, maybe I'm saying maybe we get Swerve back next week or the week after. He's still selling, which is a great thing. Great storytelling. Never complain about that. Um,
Swerve Strickland feuding with Ricochet.
yeah, no, we're winning right now. AEW's winning. WWE kicks some ass on Raw. The world of professional wrestling right now is winning. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
I love it. More people are tuning in than ever on both
Oh
sides.
yeah.
So it's a win. It's a win. So yes, thank you guys. As always, another great review. I had a blast. We was chatting tonight, man. We
Yeah.
we really had a blast really covering this. So thank you guys. Do you want to go ahead and plug yourself real quick?
For
Where you want
sure.
them to?
Yeah, you guys can find me on Joaquin underscore Xavier on both X. It feels weird to say.
Mhm.
You know, uh aka Twitter. And Instagram. You can take a look at you can watch me here on this show every
Yeah.
week and it gets released
The next day.
then okay, so every Friday. All right, you can see me. I'll see y'all tomorrow. This is Thursday when we're recording this.
Yep.
And then you can also check out my previous work. A ton of different places. But right now, this is the place to see me most often.
Yeah.
And you can also catch me doing commentary at Rich City Fights
Yeah.
these days as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. And as for me, you already know, man. Go work fitness. You already know YouTube, Instagram, all that good stuff. TKC Wrestling on Instagram. Check out the Kingpins Collective. Follow us. If you don't follow us, follow this YouTube channel. Do all that. Subscribe, as they say. Subscribe, share,
Yes.
do all that stuff. Like everything. Y'all was loving that Hogan little takedown I did the other night. But yo, look, we here every week. We cover, like I said, I'll cover Raw. As long as my schedule permits it, I'll cover Raw. As long as my schedule permits it.
Yeah.
And if it suck ass, I'm gonna tell you the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing here, right?
Yep.
Dynamite's just been doing really well the last couple weeks. Raw did pretty well, like really well Monday. We're eating good.
And no
We're eating
show is
good.
perfect. There's always a dud.
There's always a dud.
The more shows you have,
Mhm.
the more opportunity for disappointment you get.
That's a fact.
And that's just all there is to it. And that's even, that's it's if scripted television, the old model of having 22 plus episodes per season,
Right. Keep going.
we're always going to have some clunkers as a fact.
Right.
Then a situation where you're watching a live recorded presentation with depth-defying moves and potential injuries doesn't leave room for mistake. You're mistaken. You know what I mean?
That's
So,
a fact.
so everybody running these things is human, and they're not gods, and whoopsies happen. Bad albums are made, disappointing singles are created, but at the end of the day, we come back because we know they can do better.
And that's a fact. Listen, as my brother said, shout out to City Fights, Rich City Fights, man. The hometown promotion. We have really, really, really deep hands in that. And
Yes.
so it's really cool to
Yes,
bring
we do.
wrestling back to the city of Richmond. It's really cool to be the champion of the city of Richmond. You feel what I'm
First
saying?
ever
The first
heavyweight
ever.
champion
You
for the
dig?
city of pride and purpose.
You dig? So check us out tomorrow if you're in the Benicia area. Check out the show tomorrow. It's going down. Richmond, we got a couple dates coming up for you, but I already know March 22nd is going to be a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We're having music, wrestling, all at the same time. And there might be somebody who do double duty.
Okay, I heard that.
There might be somebody who got convinced to do double duty
Oh.
one time.
Yeah.
One time. All right. So we're gonna keep you posted on that. All right. But there's some great things going on. Shout out to Rich City Fights. Shout out to my brother Elliot Rey's home promotion, Oasis, SCW, everybody else who's around that's messing with us right now. It's going down, man. It's lovely. Stay tuned. Next week, I got you covered on Raw. We got you covered on AEW Dynamite, and we might be, as we discussed, we might be covering a week in wrestling. You dig what I'm saying?
Yep.
As a whole thing. So, looking forward to some great things. You already know, though. We'll see you next week, and until then, just listen and know that these kings wear crowns over here. Kingpin Collective. Let's go, TKC. Yee.
That's what's up.
Not yeet. Yee.